Hi, everyone. Welcome to the YouTube live chat with the College of Health and Human Sciences. I'm John Gibson from the Student Services Office, and we have a few students here who are going to answer your questions tonight. I'm going to have them introduce themselves, and we're going to start with Jalen.
Hi, I'm Jalen Evans. I'm a sophomore in public health, and I'm from Indianapolis.
And Jared?
Hi, my name is Jared Jones. I am a senior studying brain and behavioral sciences, and I'm from Pittsboro, Indiana.
Indianapolis.
Hi, my name is Lindy Schubring. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm a senior studying hospitality and tourism management.
Hi, I'm Michelle Parr. I am a sophomore athletic training student from Valparaiso, Indiana.
Hi, I'm Sasha Scott. I'm from Carmel, Indiana, and I'm a junior in health sciences pre-professional, and my concentration is pre-physician assistant.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So our first question is a pretty easy one, and we'll start again with Jalen, since she's here with me. Why did you guys choose to attend Purdue University?
I chose to attend Purdue because even though it's a large school, it's a Big Ten university, I felt like I mattered here. I felt like they care if I graduate in 4 years, which is very important. And so I just felt like I could find my community and find the people that would help me do well here.
So, and what about you, Sasha?
So my mom went to Purdue, and so my whole life I grew up, I was like, I'm going to Purdue. My parents were like, no, you need to apply other places. You got to look around. I was like, no, I'm going to Purdue. So I did end up visiting other schools and I applied to other places. But when I visited Purdue, I just felt so at home. And I think my favorite thing was I really loved the environment at Purdue. And just during like my visit, when I was walking through the Union, people were like studying, and it was very academic. Like I really liked that atmosphere of like everyone, I don't know, just how academic it was, how academically focused, I guess. So yeah.
And what about Lindy?
Yeah, so my reasonings were similar to Sasha. Being out of state, I get this question a lot, and ultimately for me, it came down to the people in the community here at Purdue. And, like Jalen said, even though it's a large school, I've been able to make it feel small and find a community here. And, it's one of those things where it surprises me every day, but, everybody kind of knows everybody and campus feels really small. And I love it because of the resources of a large university, while it still feels small. And I still feel like a person and not just a number.
Would either of you other two like to add?
Sure, I can go. Well, like I said, I'm an athletic training major, and for me, I knew that here at Purdue, I was going to have one of the best programs in the nation to do that. And being in state, I knew I would be pretty close to home, but far enough where I can kind of find my stride on my own. So the combination of having that great program, having all the resources that Purdue has, and all the opportunities and the connections, and also feeling like I could go home on the weekends if I wanted to.
Yeah, for me, it was more along the lines of the people here were just really friendly and they really cared about what I wanted to do. When I came, they talked about the programs and what I'd have to do to get my degree, but they also asked me about my interests and what I wanted to do and try to line those two up. And that's what it made me feel important to them to come to Purdue University.
Awesome. We'll go to another pretty easy question for you guys. Could you all describe your largest class at Purdue University and also your smallest class? And for your largest one, could one of you talk a little bit about the style of them with the labs and the recitations? We'll start again with Jalen, since she's here with me.
So my largest class here has been one of my biology classes as a freshman. It was like 400 people, but with the lab, with that class, it was only like 20 of us. So we were able to become more hands-on and get to know people within the class. And then my smallest class was one of my anthropology classes. It was like 11 or 12 of us. And so we all knew each other. Like we would have discussions every day in class. We'd get in a circle. So everybody knew everybody by name, and we knew our professor. And so we were able to get really engaged with the material.
So, how about Michelle?
My largest class, I think, was my anatomy and physiology class. And I want to say in my lecture alone, there was on average around 350 to 400 people. But I also had the lab, and my lab probably had about 25 students. So it's like she said that there was an opportunity to have that closeness of a small class and be able to, figure things out together and be able to talk through a lot of stuff. And my smallest class is actually just with my core group of athletic training sophomores. So that is only 12 of us. So a lot of my classes, we do have that small 12 number to figure out stuff together, which is what I like a lot about my major.
Mm-hmm.
What about the rest of you?
I can talk about it a little bit. I think my biggest class definitely was also anatomy and physiology. But I'm also in a class this year. My biggest class is like probably 300 people. It's my microbiology class. It is easy to feel a little like you're kind of like just in like swimming in a pond with a lot of other fish. I know, but like I don't know. There's just a lot of people in the class, and it is really difficult. So it's hard to kind of get resources. It's not difficult to get resources, but it is. It's really helpful that you can like go talk to the professor. You can go in the lab. You can get really close with your TAs. That's what I like to do in my labs, and just really make sure you can get as much help as you need in a big class. Even if it might seem a little overwhelming, it's easy to get help. It's a little bit. It's nice that it kind of forces you to get out of your comfort zone. And like I'm really nervous to talk to professors always, but my professors are always so welcoming, and they love when people come to their office hours. So that's something that I found is really helpful in my classes.
Yeah, I guess I can talk about my classes. Freshman year, the big science classes, chem, bio, those are going to be 200 to 300 people each. But they have the smaller recitation and lab sections. But as you go on and get to upper level classes, especially like my 300 and 400 level classes, they get down to like 40, 30, sometimes 20 people per class. So as you get more into your specializations and more into classes that are geared strictly for your major or strictly for your division of your major, they get a lot smaller.
Yeah, and usually, depending on the class, there are usually a couple sections that you can sign up for. So, having to take gen ed classes like psychology and sociology and things. There are some sociology classes that are in our big lecture hall with 400 students, but my section had about 100. So, you can play around a little bit with that. There's some flexibility sometimes depending on the class as well.
And another question is, what do you guys do for fun? We talked a little bit about studying. What are some of the things that you guys like to do in your spare time? Jalen?
I like to watch Netflix, just like I like to watch Netflix and hang out with my friends, and then I also do a lot with recruitment. So I'm in an organization called Weller Jacks, and we work with the recruitment of underrepresented minorities. So we work with the Office of Admissions. So that takes up a lot of my time. I'm treasurer of that organization, so I'm always trying to figure out ways to make money so we can do the best that we can. We're all volunteers, so we need involved members, and so that's what I do most of the time.
And what about Jared? What do you do for fun?
Well, I'm a gamer, so I play Xbox, I play a few other things like that, but I also go out of my way to do other things, hanging with friends. I really enjoy running, so usually about twice a week I'll go to the co-rec and do some running, and just find other things to kind of, unwind and relax.
One of my favorite things to do is I like to dance, and so I'm part of a club here on campus where we meet a couple times a week, and we have a show at the end of the semester, and all the proceeds go to charity. And it's something that I've done for the past 3 years, and I really love it.
I also like to go to the co-rec. That's the big gym on campus. So that's always nice to kind of blow off some steam. But I also really enjoy going to all the plays and other special events that come to campus. We have a lot of the big Broadway tours that come. We just had Mamma Mia come, which was really fantastic, and a lot of bands and stuff come in too. So that's a lot of fun to be able to see those big productions even just 10 minutes walk away from you.
Mm-hmm.
I also really like to run. The difference is I like to run outside, so I've found a really good loop around the campus that I like to do. But I think it's fun because I kind of get to, there's a lot of buildings under construction or like research buildings that are getting built in our Discovery Park, and I run back there to see like the progress on them. I think that's really fun. But yeah, other than that, I just hang out with my friends. I live in a sorority house, so I live like on a floor with like 8 of my best friends, so I spend a lot of time up there.
Since you brought it up, could you talk a little bit more about your experience in a sorority?
Yeah, for sure. So I was a little undecided about rushing, but what I've kind of discovered since I've been in a sorority, this will be my 3rd year in a sorority, I've had really great opportunities to get involved in leadership opportunities in my sorority, which is really great, which is what I was looking for. And so, I don't know, I think definitely the leadership opportunities I've had have really helped me to, like, they help you get people skills, if that makes sense. So just dealing with other adults in college and having to coordinate with like other people's lives. We have a lot of executive meetings, I guess. So it'll be like everyone in my chapter that has a position, and we'll like figure out the calendar, figure out all of our events, things that like they give you real world skills that you couldn't really get any other way. Like my sorority's building a new chapter house, so a year ago I had to plan a groundbreaking ceremony for 300 like current students, alumni, and people from our national headquarters, and so that was something that I never would have done otherwise. So that really helped me, like, it sounds kind of silly, but like it helped me like make phone calls. Like I had to rent like a generator. Like I had to do all these things that I wouldn't have to do otherwise. So I feel like that gave me the leadership positions I have been involved in do really give me a lot of cool skills that I would not have otherwise. So.
What are some of the other clubs that you other 3 are involved in on campus?
Well, I personally am involved in my, it's called the Athletic Training Club. So it basically is only members that are in athletic training or want to be in athletic training. So that is one of the big ones I'm in. We get to see, plan some events. We have a Relay for Life team. And we also get a lot of the surrounding athletic trainers in the state get to come in and talk to us. That's a lot of fun. And I think a lot of majors have a club, at least one, that is specialized for that group. So you can get more in depth on people that are also in the occupation that you want to be in and make some connections, which is really nice.
Yeah. Another club that I'm involved with is also for my major. So every year the hospitality department puts on an annual fundraiser dinner for 240 people, and so I'm one of the culinary directors this year. So I've been planning the menu and making the food and practicing recipes and prepping. And so the dinner is April 1st, so we're in full steam ahead mode. But it's been really fun, and it's a great way to meet other people in the major as well.
Yeah, I've been involved in a few clubs over my time at Purdue. I've been in psychology club, where we get together and talk about things both related to psychology and not related to psychology. A lot of times we get some experience with networking, talking to grad students, talking to people in the industry, as well as having some fun like movie nights or trivia nights, stuff like that. I also was involved in a club, I believe my sophomore year, which was like a Nerf dart war, like humans versus zombies, which sounds as fun as it is. Basically, it was a fun game of tag where some people had Nerf dart guns and some people were zombies, and it was just kind of a back and forth. But it was outrageous how much work went into that club to put like night missions and stuff together. But it was super convenient with classes and whatnot.
I played one semester, so I can vouch for the fun of that.
It's fun.
Heard the stories.
Yeah. At Purdue, another question is, we talked about big classes, small classes, but so far, what's been your favorite class within your major? I know some of you still have a little time before graduation, but what's been the best class so far for you? We'll start with Jalen.
My class isn't within my major, but it's Anthropology 205, Human Culture and Diversity. And so we were just talking about different issues with race and just learning about different cultures that you don't really learn about in high school. So that was really awesome for me, because it was my first experience with a lot of different material. And so we were able to just talk about issues that were going on today and that have been obviously going on within history. And so that's been my favorite class.
Jared, what about you?
I think my favorite class has been Psychology 390, which it's a class where we get to work with grad students and faculty on their research. So we basically help run their research, work in their lab, do studies, do data analysis, things like that. So as opposed to an actual class, it's more like you're getting the hands-on research and you're getting actual practice and you're gaining skills that you would use in research in the psychological field.
One of my favorite classes has been the lab that we have. So inside Marriott Hall, which is home to the hospitality department, we have a student-run restaurant. And so the 200 level students, operate the front of the house and the back of the house, cooking and serving. And then the 400 level, the seniors are managing the students who are working in the kitchen. So you learn how to manage people even if you have no interest in restaurants and food service. It's a really good practical way to learn in that sort of environment. So I really enjoyed it. I feel like I got a lot out of it.
I would say my favorite class for my major is probably HK 306, which is injury assessment. And in that class, we basically go through each part of the body and learn detailed what kind of anatomy goes on there, what kind of injuries are likely in that area, and then also learn how to do an evaluation of that body part. So we use each other as patients and talk through a full evaluation. So that was a lot of fun. And I'd say my favorite non-major class has been theater appreciation. I'm a bit of a theater nut. So it was basically just the history of theater from the ancient Romans to modern day. So that was a lot of fun.
I think my favorite class, it was for my minor. I'm a Spanish minor, but it kind of related to my major. It was Spanish 322, Spanish for medical professionals. And so I thought it would be like a Spanish medical terminology class. Like I thought we were going to be learning like words or like words of diseases in Spanish into English. Like that's kind of what I thought what the class was going to be like. But it ended up being more about like how medicine is perceived in Spanish-speaking countries and just issues with medicine in those countries as well. And it was like by far like my favorite class I've ever taken. And like our professor was really, she was so interested in the class because she is from Argentina. So she like would tell her personal stories. We actually had like a doctor who grew up in Peru. He came and talked to us, and that was outside of class, but it was really awesome just to hear all these perspectives. And just because I grew up in the United States, it was things that I had no idea about, and so I loved it. It was such an interesting class, so yeah.
Awesome. We've also had a few questions about placement rates. And within the College of Health and Human Sciences, we're really proud of those. We follow the NACE standards. NACE is the National Association of Colleges and Employers. So we report out our employment rate and then also our graduate professional school placement rate. Because within Health and Human Sciences, we do have quite a few students who want to go on to professional school every year into areas such as medicine and chiropractic and physician assistant, dentistry, occupational therapy, physical therapy. And these are very competitive programs around the country where generally less than 50% of applicants get in. And for the College of Health and Human Sciences, our rate's at 89% for admission there. And it's usually between 90 and 95% for students who go straight into the workforce from our college. And that's about 25 percentage points higher than the national average. So we're really proud of that too, proud of the work that our students are doing. Another question that we get a lot is, where did you guys live as freshmen and where are you living now? So we can start with Jalen.
So as a freshman, I lived in Shreve Residence Hall, which that's where the Honors College used to be. And I'm very jealous of the new Honors College residence there. So that I lived there as a freshman, and now I live in Windsor, which is one of the all-girls dorms. Might be the only one. The all-girls dorm, and it's closer to campus, and I love it there.
Jared, what about you?
Well, I lived in Earhart Hall my freshman year. I was in the College of Science at the time, so I actually lived in a learning community, and I lived with other guys that were in the College of Science, and we had an entire learning community together. There's also a dining court in the basement of Earhart, so it was really easy to get meals there. And it wasn't too far from campus, but there were plenty of bus loops that went out to there, so it was really convenient to live there and be able to still get to all my classes on time and no issues.
I also lived in Shreve my freshman year. It was great community, air conditioning, if that's important to you. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I love living on campus, and especially being out of state. I think living in a dorm was really crucial for me in just meeting people and feeling acclimated to the culture, and just feeling comfortable at school and adjusting to this new routine.
My freshman year, I was actually very fortunate. I was able to get into First Street Towers, which is one of the single room dorms on campus. So, I mean, that's definitely not for everybody, but with my schedule, I'm in and out of my dorms very frequently and coming in and out at odd hours. So it was nice to know that I didn't have to worry about having a roommate when I had, many 7:30 a.m. classes starting and stuff like that. So that was really nice. And I'm still in there right now, but next year I'm moving on to an apartment building right near campus.
I lived in Harrison Hall my freshman year, and it has air conditioning, so that was a really great place. And I loved it. I would live in the dorms again for sure. I loved how close it was. Harrison's close to a couple dining courts and also close to bus loops. And it is a little bit of farther off campus, but it's not the farthest. So I didn't have any issues getting to and from campus. Yeah, I think that was it. I had a great experience. I really did. I lived in a nursing community, but I'm not in nursing. So that was, I don't know, that was interesting because we were still in some of the same classes. So that was nice that I could go to friends for help. But yeah, I still have friends that lived on my floor freshman year. It's just a really great way to make friends really quickly as soon as you move into Purdue. So.
And one thing I'll add too, I don't know how many of you listening have actually visited campus, but campus is segregated to where all the academic buildings are on one side and residential are on the other. So your longest walk will be from your dorm to campus, and then once you're on campus, everything is very close. Mm-hmm. And that's really awesome, especially in the wintertime. Yeah. So, and I think it makes it feel more communal too, because you're not constantly trekking back and forth across campus. Everything is pretty contained in one area.
Mm-hmm. And if you're thinking about living off campus, I've lived in a couple apartments after my freshman year. There's a lot of larger apartment complexes in West Lafayette that really cater to the college experience. A lot of them have their own bus loops to campus, so you don't have to worry about driving and trying to find a parking space. They'll have a bus that comes to campus and will pick you up and drop you off. And I currently live just off campus in an apartment. And there's plenty of apartments that are very near campus where I walk pretty much the same distance that I did freshman year from my dorm.
And a couple of us have kind of touched on it, but the bus system on Purdue's campus is fantastic, and it's definitely a lifesaver. There's buses going everywhere that you could really ever need to go, and it really helps, especially if you get up late, which I'm guilty of. So you can always get to your classes.
And Jared, earlier you said that you changed from the College of Science to Health and Human Sciences at Purdue. Another really great college at Purdue University. But why did you decide to switch your major into HHS?
Yeah, so I was in biochemistry my freshman year, and I really like hard sciences. I really like math, and I knew that I wanted a career in that. But after taking the labs and just kind of feeling out the chemistry atmosphere, I felt like my need to socialize and to work with people and help people wasn't really met by that. So I went to our Center for Career Opportunities, the CCO here at Purdue, and met with a counselor, and they just gave me great advice and had me take a couple of inventory tests, and I found that I wanted to be, I found that one of my interests was psychology. So I switched into HHS and studied psychology, and I just fell in love with it immediately because I got my science and research that I really like, and I also got the opportunity to help people and really apply what I learned to benefiting the lives of others.
Awesome. Another question we get a lot while the camera's on you guys is, and you can raise your hands, how many of you four are going to graduate in 4 years? And Jared's changed his major. Have any of you three changed your major?
No.
Awesome.
But I know plenty of people who have, and they're still able to graduate in 4 years. So.
And after college, I know a few of you want to go on to professional school or graduate school. So would any of you guys like to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, I can. I'm planning on going on to physical therapy school after undergrad, and I actually decided late. I didn't decide till last semester that's what I wanted to do eventually. And I was honestly very nervous trying to get in all the prerequisites and everything to actually graduate on time. And that was something that was important to me. And so I sat down with my academic advisor, and she took me through everything. She helped me understand what exactly is required for physical therapy school, the prerequisites, the observation hours, anything like that, and helped me work my schedule and figure out how I can fit everything in so I do actually graduate on time and still getting all the prerequisites that I need for PT school. And so I owe her a lot. I think pretty much all of our advisors at HHS are fantastic, and they really want to help. And so I know that I would not be as calm as I am now without her help, and knowing that I can still get to this place and still graduate on time and do everything I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I am planning on going to school to be a physician assistant. So it's just 2 years of graduate school. But it is something that I think about like once an hour because it's very nerve-wracking. But my advisor like took me through everything. I did do a little bit of research on my own because a lot of graduate schools require direct patient care hours, which is where you have to be like in. It's kind of what it sounds like, but like in contact with a patient. You're not just observing or not just talking to a patient. You have to be like actually like hands-on. So I had to get my certified nursing aide license for that, or CNA. And so I work in an assisted living facility at home. I don't work during the school year, but yeah, there's just a lot of elements that go into graduate school, and my advisor was very helpful. Once I said I wanted to be a CNA, she kind of helped me find a school, kind of decide when I was going to do it. So yeah, very helpful.
Yeah.
And I recently just applied to grad school for a master's program in clinical mental health counseling. And apart from our wonderful advisors that have been helping me the entire way, I've also had a lot of the psychology faculty and even grad students really concerned about, making sure that I get out all the applications in on time, making sure I get all my materials. It was really easy to ask for letters of recommendation because the faculty, after you get to know them, they're very willing to do that for you, and they want to see you go to grad school. They want to see you succeed. And so it was really easy to get the resources that I needed to be able to get everything together.
And Lindy, what are you going to do after Purdue in hospitality and tourism management?
Yeah, that's a great question, John. Still figuring that out, but so hospitality is a bit different. You don't necessarily have to go to grad school afterwards. Usually the students that do go on to grad school pursue an MBA. And so that's not the route that I think that I want to go. And so I'm applying for jobs now. And HTM has 2 career fairs during the year, one in the fall, one in the spring. And, that's true of all the colleges on campus. There are career fairs all the time. And so Purdue won't necessarily like find a job for you, but they'll, at least for my major, but they give you all the resources to find a job. So, advisors know people and can, give you names and emails to connect you with people. Same with professors, and we have career fairs on campus. So the Career Center, like Jared mentioned, is also a really good one. So yeah, there are lots of resources here on campus, which is really great.
And last year, within hospitality and tourism management, 99% of our students had a job within 6 months of graduation, which is awesome. And hospitality, and within the peer-reviewed rankings, we're #1 undergraduate, #1 master's, and #1 PhD in the United States. And you can find those rankings in the Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Education. Jalen's also going to go to graduate school, so I'll let her tell you a little bit about that.
Okay, so I plan to get my master's in health administration. My major right now, I didn't say my concentrations, but my major is public health with a concentration in health policy and management and global health. And so I just found out like a month ago that I can graduate in 3 semesters, so a semester early. So I've gotten more on searching for graduate schools, but I'm just currently looking for the programs that are best for me and figuring out when I need to take the GRE. But I do know that I want to be in Texas, so I've just been Googling health administration programs in Texas. And so I was actually doing that all day today. So figure out where I'm going to land, but I want to get my master's in health administration.
We have one more question for tonight for you guys. We'll start with Jalen since she's here with me. But after Purdue, what's your dream job?
So like I said, I want to get my master's in health administration. I want to run a hospital, basically. That's my dream job. But I want to work in healthcare administration within a hospital and work my way up eventually.
Jared, what about you?
Well, I'd really like to be a counseling psychologist. I want to get involved in the mental health field and really improve our system here in Indiana and just make the connections easier so that people that need the help in mental health and the care that they need can find the resources easily and get treatment when they need it.
For me, I want to own my own place. So whether that be a bed and breakfast kind of out in the country or a coffee shop in New York City or something. So totally opposite things. But, something that just creates community and, you know, a place where people feel welcome. And I love coffee, so
Yes.
all those things together.
And my dream job would be to be a physical therapist for either a ballet company. I mean, I'd love to be in the West, so Denver or anywhere like that. It's a ballet company, or work as a physical therapist for one of the military academies.
So after I graduate from physician assistant school, eventually, you get to choose your kind of concentration. You can choose like what area of healthcare you want to be in. And so I'm actually involved in a club called Global Medical Brigades. I didn't talk about it before, but we take like a week-long trip to Honduras and open up a clinic. And so during that trip a year ago, I got to shadow an OBGYN, and I would never have thought that I was interested in becoming an OBGYN or being involved in that kind of healthcare, but I loved it. Just the way that she interacted with her patients and just really made them feel comfortable during exams and stuff, that really appealed to me. So right now, my dream job would be to work under an OBGYN or in an OBGYN's office, because I kind of would get to kind of hang out with kids, get to talk to people every day, and that's just really, right now, that's really my dream job. So.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank all you guys for watching, all over there across the world watching, to learn a little bit more about health and human sciences at Purdue University. If you have any questions, feel free to either contact us at 765-494-8533, or you can send me an email at Gibson, and it's GIP as in Peter, SONJ, @purdue.edu, and I'd be happy to answer any other questions that you have. So thanks again for watching, and have a good night.